I'm Scott Hess, tax and business consultant.
I'm John Barton, small business owner. Remember the tortoise and the hare? Slow and steady wins the race.
We started Turtlesmith to help people start small businesses, providing information and resources to small business owners and entrepreneurs.
Build a solid foundation and forge your dreams.
Well, we're live, Turtlesmith Live, and this time we've got Dylan Steele with us in replace of John. John is on vacation with his kids, rocking the spring break lifestyle. I am Scott Hess. I am a tax and business consultant. Dylan's actually our marketing director.
Hello.
So maybe we'll have some marketing questions that you can answer. I don't know. What are we talking about today, though, Calvin? I had zero prep. I've been buried in Texas.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
You've been buried in Texas?
I've been buried in everything but taxes.
All right, fair.
So last week on the podcast, you and John talked about starting a business here in 2026.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you specifically, why did you start a business?
It's a good question. I hated working for other people. That was really it. I could not stand doing the work and someone else making the money. I just couldn't wrap my head around a job. That was really all it was. You know, when you're in a job, you trade your time for money. That's your resource that you're giving up. You give your time away, they pay you for it. But they make all the money. And, you know, not all businesses make money, as I found out the hard way coming up over the last, 15 years. But yeah, I couldn't stand working for somebody. I'd rather, starting a business, I always tell people at the beginning, you're going to work twice as hard and make half as much. But I was 10 times as happy. I loved it. I loved working too much for not enough, but it was working for myself. Every dollar I made was for myself. I liked that stress and pressure. And yeah, that was why I started one.
All right, that makes sense. I had a question for you as well, Dylan. So you, I'm not going to say where you went to. I'll let you say that if you want to. But you went through, high school, you graduated college, and now find yourself kind of working with us in this startup and taking on a pretty pivotal role in that. Is this kind of the path that you saw it going when you were younger?
No, when I was younger, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And then when I graduated college, I thought I would be working on sets for TV production, and then COVID happened, and then they really closed the gates on who they wanted into sets. And then I just kind of wandered around, but now this is exactly where I want to be. I'm excited to kind of be on the ground floor with you guys at Turtlesmith. And I'm really eager to build this position as something for myself.
Yeah, how has it been working for me on this? Because I feel like, and it's entirely my fault, but I feel like I've given you very little direction on things to do. I've just been hey, go figure this out.
Yeah.
Has that been more difficult, or have you enjoyed that?
I enjoy it because if there is a question or if I do have a concern, I can come to you and then we square it away, or you give me direction, and that's perfect because I've worked some other jobs where they kind of not necessarily micromanaged me, but they would be I need these 5 things, and then I would do these 5 things, and they'd be well, this isn't exactly how I thought these 5 things would be, and I would be you didn't tell me how exactly you wanted these things.
See, that's the corporate world right there. It's so annoying.
So no, I think this is exactly where I would like to be.
Right on.
Well, as far as the corporate world goes, I've probably been in, out, upside down with different corporations, worked for myself, worked with people in kind of an independent role, which is a little kind of like what I'm doing here, I guess. And it's definitely a lot more challenging when you don't have, like Scott was saying, when you don't have a manual or a playbook already there for you. But on the other hand, it's a lot more rewarding work. I find myself going home on days that I had to create something completely from what's in my head versus, you know, doing it somebody else's way. I just feel a lot more fulfilled at the end of the day because I feel like I contributed something to the business rather than the business itself just, like you said, paying me for my time.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling when you can accomplish something that, when, like you said, coming up with something from nothing, basically. Because I feel like I do that to both of y'all a lot. And really, it's because I'm making all of this up as we go along. Like a lot of this stuff, I've never worked for a marketing company, so I don't know really how to build a marketing company. I've worked with some marketing companies on clients before, so I kind of know how they do stuff. But yeah, we're just kind of figuring it out as we go. And I feel like you have to do that on a lot of startups, a lot of businesses. You're just kind of feeling it out, taking it step by step, tackling one problem after the next. And a lot of problems we don't have solutions for, but we have to figure them out when they come.
Yeah. I will say with the last company that I was at, it definitely felt like the company treated the employees kind of very much like expendable. Like you're just a seat in a chair. So like if you like, we'll find someone to fill your position if we don't like you.
Yeah.
Basically. And so here I feel like not only do you like actually care if like we care about what we're doing or but like it seems like Calvin said, it just seems more rewarding because the stuff that I'm doing is actually like planting seeds instead of just like going by like, okay, this is line 1.
Yeah.
Like check that off.
Instead of just plugging away at the same thing every day.
Well, Scott, you see a lot of businesses kind of when they get into a little bit of trouble or kind of get behind the 8 ball on some things like that. And then also you kind of help them through, you know, that next stage as well as going into some growth. We've seen that with some of your examples and what you've done with John and things like that. What would you say for these new business owners? They say that first 5 years is really the hardest to get through. What are some of the things that are the biggest hangups for new business owners or the biggest humps for them to try and get over?
Well, so I mean, there's a lot of humps that you have to get over. The first one is breaking even. You gotta get to a point where your business starts making enough to pay all the bills. That's always the hardest first hump to kind of get over. And most businesses never get over that hump. That's why a lot of businesses fail. They don't make enough money to cover all the bills. They run out of cash. They have bad cash flow management and they go broke. And so that's really the biggest hump. The next kind of big hurdle that a lot of companies stumble and falter over is once they've hit that kind of growth metric of being able to pay all their bills and be able to pay themselves personally, they start running into scaling problems. You know, they're trying to grow, they're trying to get bigger, their demand for their product becomes higher and they can't handle it. They can't handle the workload. They can't handle the amount of orders that they're getting or whatever. And so planning ahead of time for both of those things is the reason it really helps for success. If you don't plan ahead, you will not be successful. And guys that come into our shop, or guys or gals who come into our shop, business owners that come in, they almost always, all of them are hiring me a year too late. They've come to me a year too late after they've already gotten in trouble, after something's already going wrong. They've missed some sales tax payments. They've missed income tax payments. They're behind on payroll. And we have to help them dig out of the hole. And it's much harder to be digging out than having just planned ahead. So my biggest, I guess, suggestion is hire professionals or hire people, mentors. You know, you can find free mentors out there. You can hire accountants for not very much. And they can really help you in those early stages to avoid kind of the longer term problems. But really, it just all comes down to planning ahead.
We kind of talk about in some of our steps that we went over in season 1 of our podcast about the different stages that you kind of get through before you even open the doors on your business on day 1. At what stage in that process do you think, is it before you open doors that you identify these things and where you're going to need them if all goes according to plan? Or is it kind of a reactionary thing of you get to this point and now you need it and then you go and hire for that?
Yeah, it's a good question. And so actually the step that you need to figure out where you need help is in step 2. So step one is, the elevator pitch, narrowing down the focus of your business into kind of its core aspect and being able to explain it clearly. Our step two is become an expert. And people always skip that step. They move right into financials or other stuff. And that become an expert step is where you realize what you are not an expert in. And there's so much more to opening a business than the business itself. So if you're a plumber out there, and we always like to use the tradesman as a good example, but if you're a plumber out there, you are probably a great plumber if you've been doing it for 10 years. But that doesn't mean you're going to be a great business owner. And so you need to become an expert in all of the other aspects of your industry outside of the plumbing in order to be successful. You have to wear so many hats. You got to learn how to market. You got to learn how to do your books. You got to learn what taxes are. You got to learn how to manage employees and what to do with conflict. You got to learn how to deal with crazy customers that, if you're a plumber, you usually have a guy in the office taking care of that kind of stuff, or the owner was handling problem customers. And now it's your job if you start your own business. And so people skip this become an expert step. And in that step, you can identify where your shortfalls are. And like we say a bunch, hire for your weakness.
Dylan, let me ask you a question. So coming into your role here with Turtlesmith, I know you've probably had to learn a lot more marketing than you had to, or the knowledge that you came in with. In dealing with some of the things that you've seen, what do you think that a lot of young businesses kind of miss the mark when it comes to getting themselves out there and marketing and promotion?
I think it like the I'm so sorry.
It's all right. It's
like
tough
I
being in the
start
hot seat
thinking,
on the live. You got to be quick.
Um,
Well, where do businesses falter at the beginning with their marketing? A lot of people have this kind of build it and they will come attitude. They think that if they have a great product or they have a great store, people are just going to show up. But you got to get out there and talk to people. You got to let them know you exist. You got to get in front of people.
I think some of the foundations of like keeping up with like photos, events, your products, some of that stuff can be like overwhelming to think about, like having to do all of the time. I work a lot with like the social media like side of things, and sometimes it can be frustrating to know like I did all of these posts, like I posted for every day for the past 2 months, like why hasn't the engagement helped or whatever. And I think that it takes time to build that stuff, but like you still need to like do the foundational pieces. Like you have to build up like your presence in order for people, like a year later to like see that you even have what you have.
Yeah, and you've kind of taught me a little as we built our marketing plan out here that the social media and that kind of stuff is really just maintenance. It's just reminding people that you exist, that kind of already know about you, that already follow you and that kind of stuff. It's really hard to build a following early on.
Yeah.
And so you got to do a lot more, physical advertisements, podcast type stuff, videos online, those kind of things in order to boost that engagement so that they will become followers. And then you can do the social media posts as, like we said, kind of maintenance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot of stuff that we offer here, and I know that we all wear a lot of hats. And so let's take those hats off just for a minute, and I want to ask both of you a question. If you, I think we asked this question before in our interviews, and I want to bring it back. If you didn't have to work, if money was not an issue, if all of your life and everything in it was taken care of from a financial aspect, how would you spend your time?
I mean, the funny answer and probably the truth is I'd spend all of my time at the golf course. Just playing golf.
That's an honest answer.
Get with the country club lifestyle, have lunch at the club, play golf all day, that kind of thing. But I think probably very quickly I would find myself unfulfilled. So I think even if I didn't if I didn't work full time or I didn't have to, I think I'd still find some kind of project to sink my teeth into, something to build, maybe even like another little startup or like a little store, or something I didn't have to spend a lot of time in. Like I could kind of build a little company that maybe had some key people in there that could run the day to day, and I could just kind of help move the big picture needle. Or maybe even like a nonprofit project or something. I'd have to find some kind of challenge for myself, because I think I'd still play a lot of golf, but I think I'd get bored if that was my entire life.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about this a lot recently. My family talks about the lottery all the time. So
Yeah.
that question of like, what would you do? And because I feel like I've brought this up to some other people, but like growing up in elementary school and middle school, like I feel like I had to write at least like 5 different essays of like, what would you do if you won the lottery? And it's always been like, I would never keep the full amount for myself. Like I don't think any one person needs like $300 million.
Well, see, now you and I have very different ideas on that, but
I would
but
split
go
it
for
up for friends and family, and I'd keep some for myself because like, enough to pay off a house and like get some land, and then make sure that like I could travel. But then I would like start building up like skills. Like I want to learn different languages. Right now, that's kind of on the back burner because I don't have time. My Duolingo widget keeps yelling at me. It's been weeks. And then I would like start working on like projects because I have like a lot of like creative like writing, and I did short films in college, so I'd probably start doing projects like that and somehow get myself into a film festival.
all right.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know you had those aspirations.
Yeah, that's like big shiny lights, like big
In your
big
name
goal.
and shiny lights?
Well, not necessarily my name, but like just big shiny goal. Like that's
Okay.
my golden goal. Because I think that would be cool. And then just
If you had $300 million, you could probably make a short film to get into a festival.
I would make a full feature length. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It depends on what one, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I think I'd spend most of my time, like Scott, probably on the golf course. My time would probably be divvied up between 3 different things: spending time on the golf course, spending time with my kids, and spending time learning how to do more advanced like woodworking.
Oh.
Woodworking.
Yeah,
That's out of left field. I didn't know you were a woodworker.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
really
I
interesting.
got saws and all that stuff at the house, man.
You and my stepdad would get along on that stuff. I realized
We already get along really good.
neither one of us said family. I think we should both throw
Well,
that
I
in
said
there.
I would divvy up my money to family.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
friends and family.
I said nothing about family. I would spend time with my family.
Just golf.
More specifically, I mean my wife and kids, obviously, because you work home, but people don't talk about how much once you get home, you kind of need to recover from the day at work, and that's more time. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, kids are going to bed, and then you realize that, dang, I haven't even seen you all day because I've been in here or I've been at work, and then when I got here, I was trying to let my mind get off of work. So yeah, definitely would spend a lot more quality time with the wife and kids, golfing, and just building shit with my hands.
Yeah.
That is a strange. When you guys go home, do you take like an hour and like you have to decompress to stop thinking about work? Is that a thing?
Absolutely.
See, I get there's no stopping for me. It's just it's just all the time. I get home and I'm still doing emails and like reminding myself of stuff. Like it never shuts off.
Yeah, because you have to physically shut yourself off, and then the wheels are still gonna be spinning.
Nah, yeah, I don't ever shut off. It's
usually for me, it's like a couple quick rounds of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And I go from work mode to home mode.
All right, fair. What about you? You have some routine?
Tiny, like a small routine, just because I have to let my dog out and she demands dinner, and there's like this in and out with her. But I have to kind of like switch up my routine. If I am in the same routine like Monday through Sunday or Monday through Friday, like I start to go crazy.
Really?
Like, I have to switch up. Like none of my weeks are the same. Of like sometimes I'll go to the park, sometimes I'll go for a walk in my neighborhood, sometimes I'll go see my grandma.
There you go.
So I have to switch it up, or else I'm locked into this prison cell world. And so,
Oh my. All right.
just in like the monotony of day.
Yeah, no, I get it. I
'Cause,
get it.
Yeah. So
I get
not
it.
necessarily like this is super stressful or anything. It's just more of like, if I do the same thing every day, then I am like,
Yeah.
what is this? What are we doing?
Fair enough. All right. We got another question?
Well, actually, I have one more question before we get to the questions. So, given what your responses were just now, at what point do you think you need to get to financially to make that your everyday life? Like they say, everybody has a number, right? If you hit this number just shows up in your bank account tomorrow. What would that number be for you to live the life that you just talked about?
You got an answer, or you want me to jump in?
I
It's
don't know.
47.
47 million?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the goal.
47 million. That's for the rest of your life. Don't have to open up another tax office again.
I did the math one time, and it's enough for me to have a house I want, enough money in savings so that my kids and their kids can have enough to make it through. The fourth generation's screwed. They are on their own, but it can make it a couple generations down. And yeah, I can do anything I want. It's not private jet money, but it's first class travel, nice enough accommodations. 47 million.
I've never done the math. I don't know. Probably a couple, because I don't want to have to worry about like running out of money, like, and stuff. And like my big adult goal is to like move somewhere and have like a little bit of land, because I want to do that, like have some chickens and like have a garden.
I've thought about that
like-
one time. The problem is once you get chickens and like land, like I always thought it'd be fun to be a gentleman farmer. You have like a couple cows, but
Yeah.
it's really just for fun. But you gotta and then you gotta hire somebody to like live out there, because like you can't travel. You can't travel and have
know.
chickens. Somebody's gotta feed them.
Yeah. But I also have lots of friends that's also kind of their end goal too. So
Yeah,
there's
just-
always
yeah,
the
there you
talks of
go.
like a little compound situation.
Oh, okay. So you're a little bit of a hippie. Huh?
A smidge.
A little bit- smidge of
yeah,
hippie?
a
Okay.
smidge of hippie, yeah.
I like it.
I think my number is probably it's about half of your number, Scott.
20,
Yeah, it's about 20. Well, it's about 25.
25. That's pretty good.
25, and I could cut everything off today and know that I would be able to manage 25 to make it grow on its own
Yeah.
while living off of, just what I need. So, it would be important to me to secure, future generations, and, at least give them a leg up, or at least be able to know that, if anything were to happen to me, my kids will be taken care of for the rest of their lives, my grandkids as well, things like that. So I think 25 with some smart management, that's my number.
I like it. That's a good number.
It's my walk away number. All right. See, we do have one question here. What is the best way to find business resources for a new small business? Things like help with signage, equipment, basically financing your own growth.
Well, there's a lot of different places, unfortunately. Now, Turtlesmith is working very hard to consolidate all of those. So I hope that in the future we can say turtlesmith.com. The first spot to stop is turtlesmith.com. Check out a bunch of those resources on stuff. Signage and equipment, it's going to depend on your industry. There's all kinds of sign companies out there that you can look at. There's all kinds of equipment dealers that you can look at. But if you're looking for resources on like funding and that kind of stuff, the SBA is a great place to start. The Small Business Association, sba.gov. Tons of resources. John has mentioned several times on this too, the SCORE, which is like a senior mentor that you can find. They are retired, CEOs and business owners and stuff like that who have lots of experience. They can help you out. There is almost certainly, depending, as long as you live in a reasonably sized city, chambers of commerce groups that you can get with, business owner meetings that you can get with. Check your local like Facebook. There's for sure like a small business group there are a lot of resources out there once you just start looking. Just start Googling, start searching your local community. There are tons of resources to help you out, and a lot of people who want to help you. Like, I genuinely want to help people start businesses here in the Oklahoma City area. We love to help people get going. So if you have an idea, check out Turtlesmith, give us a shout. If you are out there in the world, find somebody like us. There are tons of people who want you to succeed and want to give you the information.
Do you have to already be an established business to get a loan from the SBA?
No.
Or you can the SBA can be part of your business startup process?
Yeah, it can absolutely be a part of your startup process. There's a 7A loan that you can get. Now, you do have to have some kind of collateral, a house or something, depending on the money you're taking. But there are a lot of like equipment loans that will finance 100% of it, and the equipment itself is the collateral. So there's a lot of things to look at for those kind of funding resources. Like, you can get 100% paid for loan for like a van, equipment, those kind of things that you need. You don't have to have a lot of capital in your pocket or a lot of collateral. So there's a lot of resources. There's also too, if you have a great business plan, there's investors. You know, if you have a really locked in, solid, detailed business plan on something that's going to work, there are a lot of people with money who will be excited, but they're not going to be excited if you have a shitty elevator pitch and you have some dream that you want to go. You got to have something on paper, you know, a real business plan, and people will be interested.
Go back to Turtlesmith season 1 to learn how to do all of those things that Scott just mentioned as well. The first few episodes literally teach you about how to formulate an elevator pitch, or what makes a good elevator pitch, how to become an expert, how to do a feasibility study. Like, all of these components are things that you want to do in the process of making that business plan.
And, you know, I think the biggest fault on most small business owners or entrepreneurs, or really dreamers, and when they're in that state, is they just don't put in the work. You just got to put in the effort at the beginning to build a solid plan. You got to prove to investors and to the bank that it'll work, and there's money available.
Yeah, it's that old philosophy of 9 to 5 and then 5 to 9.
100%.
You know, you've got to be able to obviously earn money for you to live day to day and just stay alive. But if you want to get to that next step of independence, you've got to put in that additional time. And just know that those little steps, those little hours that you put in here and there are going to add up to something that's going to change your life.
100%. And not to be preachy, but anybody can start a business. Like, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, kind of dumb, or you don't know math, or you struggle with some social skills or something like that. There are tons of businesses that you can start that don't require some of those skills, or really rely on skills that you do have. There's just so many opportunities out there for small businesses. And if you put in the effort and do the correct planning, you'll have a great chance of success.
Well, I agree. So, but that was the only question that we have right now. Any other thoughts for you guys?
I don't know. I feel like I dominated this conversation, which is unusual for me. Usually John takes it over. So
I'm okay.
How'd you feel being in the hot seat on the live?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That did not sound convincing in any way, shape, or form.
I think there was a couple times where like I started to speak before I actually like had a thought. I was just like, now's the time to start speaking, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to start speaking and let the thought form.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. So now I've got one last thing before we get out of here. This is the Turtlesmith. I'm making up a new segment on the spot. This is the Turtlesmith Totally Uninformed Sports Picks, because we are starting March Madness today.
Oh, I love it.
I need to know from you two who is going to be this year's NCAA men's basketball champion. And I'm not telling you even if they're in the tournament or not. So go.
Oh, you got to give me something.
No. You just got to pick somebody.
Man, my mom's gonna be pissed. She asked me to fill out a bracket.
What team
and I never did.
What team does Lacey play for?
She plays for Wisconsin.
All right, so Wisconsin's winning the women's, right?
So they literally just got upset.
Oh,
Yeah. So they
dang it.
they're in like
earlier
a
today,
separate.
about an hour ago.
All right. The only other teams I'm familiar with, North Carolina.
I think North Carolina's still in it.
All right, or Villanueva.
I believe Villanova's. It's either
Villanova.
or
Is it Villanova or Villanueva?
Villanueva's a player.
Oh,
Villanova's the school.
see, this
I
is
was
what I
like,
show you.
that sounds like-
This is what I show you.
What
Now,
about Dylan?
now back to you.
Okay.
Who's gonna win the Rugby World Cup?
Is it the Blacks?
I mean, that is a team.
They're from like Australia, right?
Wrong. It's called the All Blacks.
The All Blacks.
Yeah, and they're from New Zealand.
New Zealand. The New Zealand All Blacks.
All right, a good pick.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Thank you guys for tuning in.
You,
And
you didn't give us your pick, did you?
I thought I was gonna get out of
you
that.
No.
out of this. Come on, Dylan.
I have
need
no
that pick.
idea. NCAA, I don't even
And
know.
I'm holding you to it.
Is
Scott's actually got a good one with North Carolina.
The only reason I know that is
dang.
because didn't Jordan play for North Carolina?
Jordan did play.
We
for
learned
North
that in the
Carolina.
other episodes. That's
Wait.
all I remember.
Which North Carolina? The blue one?
Yeah, the
Tar
Tar
Heels.
Heels.
Okay, yeah.
UNC.
Well, before my sister played at Wisconsin, she played for NC State.
Oh.
So, and their men's kind of had something. But
Is Wichita State in the March Madness?
I don't think they are this year.
We've done it a couple times. But
Yeah,
that was
they-
always a big deal
they
because
made a
I'm from
deep-
Wichita. So whenever
They
Wichita made it
deep
in.
run a few years ago. I think they got
Yeah.
to the Final Four, or was it the championship game?
I don't remember, but I remember there's been a couple times where Wichita State's just kind of come out of nowhere and got into the March Madness brackets.
Yep.
I have no idea.
You got to guess.
Is Michigan in the NCAA?
Michigan is in the NCAA tournament. So
See, I
Dylan's
don't
got
even
Michigan.
know who's in
I'd
which.
say
Scott's
Oklahoma
got
State,
North
but I think
Carolina.
Oklahoma
Oh, yeah.
State's terrible.
Is OU playing?
No, OU was actually one of the first teams left out.
and
They're like-
Oklahoma State's not in it.
Oklahoma State's not in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Houston.
Okay.
Mm.
I think Houston's got a chance this year. I've seen a couple of their games. I don't follow college basketball as much, but I've seen a
Isn't
couple of
Duke
their
always
games.
good too?
Duke is another top favorite for this year.
All right.
Yeah.
I think they're a number 1 seed, and Houston's like a number 2 seed.
All right, I'm changing my answer then. It's Duke.
Oh, you can't go from North Carolina to Duke. You can't walk across
All right.
Tobacco Road like that.
All right, North Carolina then. North Carolina.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. You can catch our lives every Thursday at 4:30. Please come in, ask us your business questions in the chat. We're giving you out free advice. We're giving you out some good vibes. Check out our podcast each week. We got the Turtlesmith podcast dropping on Wednesdays. We got Sense of Direction podcast dropping on Fridays. Come check us out and follow us on all social media at Turtlesmith OK. And come to our website, turtlesmith.com. If you are here in the Oklahoma area, we can help grow your business. I think that's it.
Was that the first time that I was on Turtle?
I'm Scott Hess, tax and business consultant.
I'm John Barton, small business owner. Remember the tortoise and the hare? Slow and steady wins the race.
We started Turtlesmith to help people start small businesses, providing information and resources to small business owners and entrepreneurs.
Build a solid foundation and forge your dreams.